I want to thank you for coming back to the table for this conversation about an autoimmune condition called Scleroderma. I'm back with Monika Hilton. Her diagnosis impacted her life. She got some answers she'd been waiting for, but it also changed her career. But it hasn't stopped her from raising awareness about the condition. And Dr. Tsagaris, she's back with us too. She cares for patients with scleroderma, arthritis, lupus, and other autoimmune conditions. And joining the conversation now is Kimberly Gonzalez. Her symptoms started when she was just 8 years old, but she didn't get the final diagnosis, the answer she needed, until she was 12 years old. Welcome to the show.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you for being here. I have to imagine, as a little girl, seeing your body change and feeling your body change in a way that your friends weren't experiencing was pretty tough.
Yeah.
When did this start?
This started, well, it started at 8 years old, and I started feeling a lot of fatigue. Now I know it's fatigue, but I thought I was just really tired.
Yeah.
And I didn't know different. And then it took my mom a few Googles because they diagnosed me with arthritis. She was like, honey, you do not have arthritis. So my mom was my biggest advocate. And
that's so important.
Yeah,
so
thanks
important.
to her, even though it was 4 years, but thanks to her, I got the final answer.
So when you get the final answer at 12 years old, what do they say? And what were you experiencing? Like, how much had changed beyond from 8 to 12 with the fatigue? What other symptoms were you experiencing?
Well, for one, I was 100% better in the fact that they gave me the right medication. So I didn't have to feel tired all the time. And it allowed me not to maybe sleep 4 hours a day instead of like 1. You know, it was wonderful getting that clarification. And to be honest with you, I was 12 years old. I had no idea what was coming at me. They just told me that I had a life-changing condition and I was never going to be quote unquote normal.
Yeah, we're disregarding the term normal here, right?
Yeah.
You are normal. You have a condition that impacted your development, though, right?
Yes.
And so what's the impact for you? Is it hands? Is it feet? Because we've seen some pictures. You shared some pictures with us. Help us understand what the impact has been for you.
Oh, my gosh. Wow. The self-esteem part was definitely triggering, especially in high school. You know, I used to not tell people I had this condition, and I used to hide it from my friends. And I got the term that I was a flake because I would always have to say, oh, I can't go to this football game. And I wouldn't say because I get cold, I'll just say, I'm just not feeling well, I'm tired. And then they stopped inviting me because I kept flaking out on all my events. But that didn't stop me. I was like, you know what? I'm going to tell people what I've been really going through.
Yeah, how important is it when you're talking to your patients, Doc, and when you're talking to other women, adults who are dealing with this, to make sure that when children are diagnosed with this, we're having the conversation no matter what the age is, so that it helps normalize it for folks who don't have the condition?
Yeah, there's a huge spectrum of the disease, as we can see just from these two patients, but even in the patients I see every day. It's important to continue to find your interests and to stay active and find what makes you happy and what makes you want to contribute to the community and how you can best do that. As she mentioned, she was having this fear of being cold. We know that 95% of patients with scleroderma, one of the first symptoms is Raynaud's phenomenon, and it can be severe.
What's it called again?
Raynaud's phenomenon. And what this is in your extremities, so your fingers and your toes, the blood vessels will spasm and get tight and constricted. And so typically when you're going out into with a temperature change, your blood vessels will enlarge or dilate. But in this condition, everything kind of shuts down. And this is triggered by this autoimmune disease. And what happens is your fingertips and toes will turn from white to blue. And then as they rewarm, they'll get red.
And what period of time?
It can happen quickly. It can happen in
Monika, I have to ask, you put on these beautiful pink gloves. I was like, okay, that's part of the style. Then I realized, no, are you cold?
I'm freezing. I'm freezing, fingers and toes. So I always have to be prepared. I have a lot of gloves. I keep in my automobiles, whatever room in the house. I always have gloves with me, always a jacket. Because I'm always cold.
Yeah, Is the fatigue an issue for you as well?
It has been. My doctor told me a while ago, you have to keep moving. I know this sounds kind of bad, but you got to keep moving, because at one point I was home on the couch, tired all the time, didn't want to do anything. And outside of my kids being in my ear all the time, Mama, let's go work out, let's go do this, because they had a hard time understanding that I couldn't be that same mom that ran around with them outside or raced or whatever. I was tired, and I couldn't really explain the severity of how tired I was.
Right. Is that the biggest sign? I mean, or at least for a common denominator when you're not seeing some of the other symptoms, is that extreme exhaustion and fatigue?
It's definitely part of it. I would say most common sign by far is this Raynaud's phenomenon. So that's just something that needs to stand out. It's not uncommon for a healthy teenager, somebody in their 20s, especially women, to have this Raynaud's. But if it gets extreme, where you're seeing your fingers stay blue and purple, if you're seeing an ulcer on your finger or toe, that needs to be evaluated by a specialist.
And that was an issue you had as well, right?
Yes. For me, my wounds started opening on my knuckles and on my elbows. Luckily, that's not an issue anymore, but I have lost 7 fingers due to having Raynaud's plus scleroderma.
Wow.
And I recently, well, not recently, like 2 years ago, I did end up losing my right toes.
So this sometimes progresses, which is why the ongoing conversations are important.
It progresses, which is why it's important to recognize it, why it's important to avoid anything that triggers, anything that, like smoking, anything that's going to constrict blood vessels. It's important that as physicians, we use medications that help enlarge the blood vessels and things like that.
Understood. Really informative conversation. I knew we were going to learn a lot today. This is wonderful information here. Stay with us. We'll be right back. After the break, we're going to hear from Montez. He's been managing his scleroderma symptoms for almost a decade now, and he's got some advice for people going through similar situations. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it, and I really want to thank you for season 3 of Portia. It's because of loyal viewers like you that we keep getting to share this daily dose of positivity all across the country. So just a reminder, I still need you to like, comment, and subscribe, and go ahead and tell your friends. You can catch us now in Orlando, in San Francisco, in Atlanta, and all across the country on Fox Soul. Tell your friends. We'll see you soon on Portia.